Border Gateway Protocol is the protocol with lot of attributes. Usually when you talk about protocol, routing protocol, the first thing comes into our mind is the metric that they use to calculate the best path. For example, OSPF uses cost, EIGRP uses composite value, bandwidth and delay, RIP uses hop count. Likewise, we don't have any attribute, any metric in BGP. We don't have any metric likewise, like that. Instead, we have attributes. How can I see attribute? Attribute is a list of metric. This is my own definition, okay? There may be some other definition. In English language, attribute, if I need to translate that English word, guna adisiyam in Tamil. Guna adisiyam. அதுக்கும் சில பேருக்கு விளக்கம் வேணும், அதை விளக்குறேன். லுங்கி கட்டினா லோக்கலு, பேன் கோட் ஷூட் போட்டா ஹை லெவலு, இதுதான் ஆட்ரிபியூட். அதே ஆள் தான் உள்ளுக்குள்ள ஒளிஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கிறது, அதே ஆள் தான். மேலே டை பேண்ட்டு ஷூவு போட்டதுனால டீசென்ட்டு. அவர் அதை கழட்டிலாம் போட்டு பனின்னு ஒரு லுங்கி சொக்கா போட்டா அவர் லோக்கலு. தட் இஸ் தி அட்ரிபியூட் ஆஃப் மேன். அந்த மாதிரி likewise BGP has got metrics that you can use to change the BGP's attribute, BGP's behavior. See, anything that changes your behavior is an attribute. For example, another example I'm giving you. You are driving in the night time and you see a wolf in the road trying to attack you. Will you stop your car? No. You will just hit the wolf and you will go fast. You will hit it. You won't allow the wolf to come and spoil your car, put some scratches on your door. Just one boom. Keep going before you get hurt by the wolf. But if you see a deer coming in the way, a deer, you'll stop because it's so cute animal. It won't hurt you. Let it pass by. See, same person, same car. For the wolf you are not stopping, but for the deer you stopped. For the kangaroo you stopped. For a kitten you stop. But for a lion and a wolf you don't stop. That is attribute. Likewise, BGP has got different attribute. By tuning the attribute, you can make BGP to choose path as per the policy. That's why we need BGP. See, BGP is not going to consider bandwidth or delay or MTU or load. BGP is not going to consider reliability. It is going to only focus on the attribute. And we use the attribute to define our expectation from the BGP. We use attributes to tell BGP, this is what BGP I want. So that BGP will understand you and choose a path. You understand? BGP will choose a path as per your policy, not as per the bandwidth. As per the policy, it will choose a path and recommend that path to the router. And it is the routing protocol now have to decide whether to use it or not. So BGP is a protocol that can understand our policy in path selection. Is this clear? So far I have explained you why BGP. Still I want to extend that. Why BGP? For that, I want to tell you why we are not using BGP inside an organization. Inside an organization, we don't really have a path selection policy. You may have other policy like I don't want to advertise this network, I want to filter this network, something like that. You may have a policy to take this hop instead of that hop, sometime very rarely. So those policies are simple policies, can be configured using BGP, can be configured using OSPF or EIGRP. So there is no big policy involved inside the autonomous system, inside the organization, inside an enterprises. We call enterprises as an autonomous system. One office is one autonomous system. So within the autonomous system, we don't enable BGP for providing a route for those networks that are inside the organization. Repeating again, for those networks that are inside the organization, we don't enable BGP. We enable BGP only for those networks coming from outside. You need to know this statement at least for another 3 class. Repeating again, why will I have BGP if I have inside? Why will I have? I'll have BGP only to bring the routes from the outside to inside. I will not be having BGP to bring my own inside network. To learn your own inside network, you will have OSPF, you will have EIGRP, RIP, ISS. Right? So to bring the external network, the network coming from another autonomous system, to bring the routes from the external, to bring the route from the external, we use BGP. To bring the route from your own organization, from a different part of your organization, we use IGP. Now, for IGP, you don't have big policies. IGP can easily handle those simple policies. You don't need BGP. I run BGP only for those networks coming from another organization, or coming from ISP. We call that BGP as eBGP. For example, you have network 11111. This is coming from outside, and if you want to bring those network from outside in to the inside, we run IBGP. This IBGP is not for the networks that are inside the organization. Inside you may have 10 network, 192 network, 172 network, not for these networks. For these networks you have OSPF. You are having IBGP to bring the other autonomous system network inside your organization. So you will be running both OSPF as well as BGP. OSPF as well as BGP. OSPF as well as BGP. This BGP we called as IBGP. After telling this much, you should not say, why should we run OSPF? We are already running BGP on every router. Why we need to run OSPF? Don't ask me that. I'm giving you question and answer now itself. You should not. You need OSPF. You also need IBGP. The job of IBGP is simply to bring the outside network inside. Whereas the job of OSPF to provide reachability between these networks that are within the organization. OSPF will not deal with 1111 network. Like this, BGP will not deal with these networks. You understand the difference between IBGP and EBGP and OSPF? The purpose of OSPF in our organization is for our own network. The purpose of BGP in our network is to bring the external route. So when you are running BGP between our own routers, we call this IBGP, Interior Border Gateway Protocol. When you run BGP between our router and outside router, we call this external BGP, EBGP. Is that clear? And so now, see, between the organization, you will definitely have policies. See, you should understand why we need BGP first. Before you understanding how to configure BGP, what is BGP, you should know why should I go for BGP? I'm trying to answer those things now. First, I answered BGP has got attributes, not simple metrics. Because it has got attribute, I can have a path selection as per my policy. Why I need to focus on policy? Because we will definitely have policy when we are talking to outsiders. See, if someone is running and coming to your home, if he is too bright white color, tall, with hippies, if as an educated person, you will not accept him inside. You want to verify from where he is coming. Is he having a valid visa? If I accept him in my house, will there be any problem for me in future? See, these are all policies. But someone in our own color comes running, trying to save his life, you will invite him inside. You will give him, you will show him the bathroom, let him take the bath, come, give him food, and then ask what happened. Right? You don't have big policy for insiders. You don't have any second thought. You saw him hungry, you take him inside the house, give him a nice room, food, take care of him, and then you ask him, how can you help him? But for foreigners, especially those people who live in borders, they will think twice. For example, now from Sri Lanka, many people are coming to India. Likewise, many people come from Pakistan, go to Pakistan, come from Pakistan, go to Nepal, come from Nepal. It happens actually every time. And officially many people come in, but we don't invite easily without verifying. We have policy, no? That's what I mean. We'll check at least whether he has got valid visa. Okay, he has got another 2-month visa to stay in India. Fine. Then I will ask him, fine, come inside. What happened? Sorry. Right? And then we may try to help him. Because he has got valid visa, you will not be in a problem if you entertain him. So, between the countries, between the border, between the autonomous system, between different networks, there will be policy in network also. Why? Because your traffic is going to someone's network and someone's routers are going to be used to reach your remote office. Let's say this is your remote office. From your local to go to remote, you use someone in the middle. Why should the middle guy allow you? Why should the middle guy allow you to come and use the router, their link, and all the stuff? Why should they allow you? Because this is a service provider. You're paying to them. Likewise, your remote office is also paying to them. Because you're paying, they should allow us. But they will not simply allow you to use all the bandwidth. So they set a limit. For this amount of bandwidth, you need to pay this much. When you pay this much, then I allow you. That is what policy. Now, let's assume this ISP, the middle guy is an ISP, he has got two different type of connection. One is normal IP routing, the other one is MPLS. MPLS maybe layer 2 VPN. Now you see there is a policy. Any traffic coming from network ABC, it needs to take MPLS VPN. The other traffic should take normal IP packet, IP path. What is this? Path selection policy. Path selection policy. This is what we call it as path selection policy. To achieve this path selection, this type of path selection, you need attributes. Can hop count solve this problem? No. Can bandwidth metric solve this problem? No. Delay? No. Cannot. So you cannot run EIGRP or OSPF or RIP or ISIS for this. You need a protocol that will understand your path selection policy requirements. That is why we need BGP. Fine. See, if you don't have any policy, better not to go for BGP. Listen. You have one autonomous system. This is your autonomous system. And this is your ISP. And your router is connected to ISP with a default route. What route? What is default route? Any network this router don't know, it will send it to ISP. ISP is connected to many networks around the world. ISP will take care of the routing. Your edge router will not be having detailed routes. Your edge router only knows to know, go to this network, only inside networks. Inside this network, all the routers are reachable. Maybe you're running OSPF. Internally, you can reach. For those networks, for inside networks, you will have routes. For all the inside networks, you will have routes in this edge router. This is customer edge router. But this customer edge router, will there be a route to reach Google or Yahoo or Facebook? No. You got only a default route. Who has given you? ISP has given you a default route. Is there any need for BGP here? No. If ISP is not giving you default route, if they ask you to write a default route, you can write the default route and you go. Because you are doing NATing, you don't need to even advertise your inside network. The routing will happen. There is no need for BGP in this scenario because there is no policy involved in it. Someone is in a boat going with a friend. Boat going with a friend. All of a sudden they started fighting. Now this guy don't like actually now because the traveling was very sweet in the beginning, but now the other guy is too much torturing, scolding. This is my boat. Get down. All the stuff he's saying. This poor guy, Mr. A, is this autonomous system. This guy, Mr. B, is this autonomous system. And this boat is this one link, only one link. Whether A likes to be with his friend or not, he has to now depend on his friend only. He don't like that friend because he's fighting, but he has to travel with his friend if he want to save his own life. Correct? He cannot jump in the ocean and do swimming. He cannot do that. How long he can swim? It's an ocean. It is not a small pond. And he don't know which direction to go now. He don't have a compass. He don't have a compass. And he don't know, he cannot swim for long distance. So now this guy, even though he don't like it, his eyes are red actually. His eyes are red. But he don't have other option. He will travel with him only. There is no policy. There is no option. There is no policy. There is no policy. No option. So policy is what? Options. You can go this way or that way. That is policy. Should I go this way or that way? For which we should have what? Two ways, two paths. But how many paths you have? Only one path. So whether you like or not, that's the only option for you to go to YouTube, Yahoo, Facebook. There is no policy. So no need for BGP. Don't waste your processor by enabling BGP. No need of BGP. BGP is needed only when you have multiple autonomous systems. Or you have multiple connections to the autonomous system. I'll explain both. First, multiple connection to the autonomous system, meaning you have another connection to your ISP. You have another connection to your ISP. You understand? So when you have multiple connections, you will have policy. Yes or no? I would like to send all the important traffic via this path. And I will send all the rest of the traffic via this path. Why? Because I'm paying for two connections. Why? Because if I put every traffic in this path, it will be too congested. Why? I don't want to simply waste the money that I have spent for this connection. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to utilize both the paths. So I'll say this is one of my example policy. What is that? All the office related traffic goes this way. All the rest of the traffic go this way, the second path. See, there is a policy involved in path selection. You need BGP. This is one scenario. We call this as dual homing. What homing? Dual homing. Next is, you have another autonomous system here and you got connection to it. So this is your one ISP. This is another ISP. See, here also there is a policy involved, no? Maybe you might have got more bandwidth here, 200 meg. And here only 50 meg. So what you can do is use this as a primary and this is a backup. There is one type of policy. Or this 50 meg is too much for voice traffic. All the voice will go via this way. Rest of the traffics will go via this one. Yeah, voice packets are tiny packet. This 50 meg is too much for an office. You see, these are all examples of policies. You need BGP in this type of scenarios. We call this as multi-homing. So I have explained to you why and where BGP and what is BGP. BGP is Border Gateway Protocol. That is to bring the external routes into your autonomous system. If it is distributed within your autonomous system, if the external route is distributed within your autonomous system with the help of BGP, we call it as IBGP. If it is only distributed between the autonomous system, we call it as eBGP. Now, in eBGP, we have three different ways in which you can learn the routes. See, one is ISP giving you all the thousands of routes into your routing table. Thousands of routes, no? ISP will have. They give you all this. For this, you need to have a big routers like XR routers, big routers, so that you can handle all the 1,000 routes. So now ISP will now compare enterprises will now compare ISP given route and ISP1 route and ISP2 route. According to the policy, whichever the path matches, whichever path meets the policy requirement, that will be used. Some destination will be via ISP1 because policy is met, but for other the policy is not met, it may be met via ISP2, it will go via this way. So one way of learning route is complete routing table you learn. The other way is both are advertising default route and you use attribute to use this as the primary path and this is the backup path because the bandwidth is less. This is second way. The third way of learning route is ISPs give you partial route, meaning for some important network they advertise you the route. For the balanced network they give you default route. Same way, for some important network they give you route. For the rest of the network they give you default route. Right? These are the three ways in which routes are learned between eBGP neighbors. Right? So what we have learned is why BGP and what is BGP and where to use BGP. At last we learned in what all ways, the 3 ways of learning routes from an eBGP neighbor. Do you have any question? Please ask. Redistribute. It is not a good option. Why, you know? See, what do the BGP have got? BGP has got attribute, correct? But OSPF, will they understand attribute? No. OSPF knows only metric called cost. So if you take BGP route and redistribute, all the attributes will be lost. Is that okay? No. We enabled BGP for attribute only. You understand? All right. If there is no question,